Barbara G. Tarn, a writer and a painter.
I write mostly fantasy and some science fiction. I'm also an artist, and I usually do my own covers because I'm an indie author, and I write in English more than Italian.
Luigi Petruzzelli, se ti vuoi presentare.
Yeah. I've been a publisher specialized in science fiction for 5 years, and besides that, I'm graduated in mathematics. I've been a software consultant for many years and a teacher in secondary schools.
Well, I must say, the Fringe Science, I intend the science that departs from mainstream theories of the mainstream science. So we talk, for example, M theory, multiverse theory, and you can take an example from the TV series like Fringe or like Eureka, or Eureka, I don't know. Eureka. It's difficult to talk about fringe science and science fiction because in Italy, fringe science is science fiction. It's not considered science. You can think about your writer like Carl Sagan, okay? He is a big scientist, he worked at NASA, and he wrote a lot of science fiction novels. In Italy, can exist the possibility to write science fiction if you are a scientist. Want to say something about fringe science, science fiction in relation with the writers? You are a writer of science fiction.
I still have some science fiction, which is based more on movies or comics or stuff like that, because I don't read much science fiction. And I base my science fiction story mostly on the conspiracy theories you find on the internet, or mind control, alien abductions and stuff like that. So it's not really science, I'm afraid. Maybe it's fringe science, the study of alien abduction and alien visitors on Earth, Men in Black, or whatever.
Yeah. Maybe you are nearly fringe science.
Yes, maybe.
I think what you're describing would fall under soft science fiction.
In Italy, I'm speaking from a publisher point of view. I receive many texts, many novels, many stories. Okay, I am specialized in science fiction, so what do you think I get? Love stories, book about cooking recipes and so on. This is what the authors generally send to science fiction publisher. Throw this away, let's take the other half. The other half is mostly fantasy. Science fiction would be perhaps 20% of what I got. Of this 20%, what should I do? Science fiction, well, it's more fiction than science. It's very difficult to find hard science fiction in Italy. It's most humanistic science fiction, if I may say this. It's more philosophical, it's not, you haven't a story with true hard science or fringe science in it. I tried something with publishing an anthology, a collection of stories of mostly Italian authors, but not only, on mathematical science fiction, stories of science fiction whose main idea is based on mathematics.
Hard science, we intend science. In Italy, we see hard science is science. So you have a creative idea about science, they look at you and think, what do you write about science? This does not exist, but it's a creative idea about science. This is a fringe science. Fringe science, no, what is... In Italy, you don't talk about fringe science. It's very dangerous, because, okay, you're a writer, they can say, okay, you're a writer, you're an artist, okay, you're crazy, there's no problem, okay, you talk about what you want, but you are a scientist and you have a creative idea. Okay, I want to talk about a guy got in another dimension They look at you and they say you, hey, you don't work like scientist. You are a writer, science fiction writer, or you are a scientist. You must choose.
But up until recently, I mean, many did. And Primo Levi is an
It's
example.
a degree at university.
Scholars.
And, okay, you are a degree at university, but it's not a real scientist. You don't work in a research field, you don't work in a university, and it's different for us. In Italy, we make a difference in you are a graduate in university, and you work like scientists. So we don't have scientists that write science fiction, but we have graduates at university that write science fiction, but write a science fiction and no more.
Conservative or conservative.
And it's very strong in Italy. So strong that a lot of our scientists can talk about particular arguments. I give you an example. We got an astronomer. I don't say if a girl or a man, but this astronomer go very often on TV programs because it's very famous. I don't give you the name. After. I don't want to talk bad about people that are not here. This astronomer go to the programs, to TV programs, and every time there is a guest in TV programs, the speaker got the same question. Do you believe in extraterrestrial life? And the astronomer answered, oh, I think can be extraterrestrial life, but it's very difficult. They come on the Earth, the distance, the astronomical distance are too much bigger for that is possible. So you, okay, you know something about science. I read a lot about Fringe Science, and I think, why he or she didn't talk about the possibility of a shortcut in the universe, the wormhole.
Someone who is considered crazy because he's supposed to teach chemistry at the university, but he says that aliens abductions are real, and he has his theories, and he has interviewed under hypnotism alien abductee, and he has all these theories. He even has a theory about how to travel in space, meaning you go through time and space. That's why you can go from one place to the other, quick time. But I think he's considered crazy by the other academics.
Do Italian scientific journals ever publish science fiction like American science journals do?
This is a good question.
I think there are science fiction magazines and science magazines.
Yeah.
Different things.
We got a publisher of Fringe Science magazine, but the readers are the fans of science fiction or fans of Fringe Science. It's not a science magazine. It's a Fringe Science magazine. It is a part. It's a on-side. And this magazine belongs to the entertainment. It's not science, it's entertainment.
And what would you really say is the reason for this this fear and loathing of science fiction and fringe science? Because there's certainly some in America too, but what are the origins of it?
Hey, we need another panel for this. Maybe, I think 3 or 4 hours.
How about the influence of Catholic Church that says
Church,
extraterrestrial life can't exist because we're the only living being in the universe?
I think history influenced a lot the thought of the people.
Something. When I was thinking of becoming a publisher, I told some people, some friend, okay, I'll be a publisher. I saw you will print books. No, I want print books. Nobody, or almost nobody wants a publisher, but that's another thing. And the next question was, and what will you publish? We publish mostly science fiction, I think. Ah, so you print a book for children? No, no, not quite so. Science fiction is considered by most people, by the big public, something for children.
And it's the same for Fringe Science. It's not serious. In the USA, it's very serious. So you see TV series, Fringe, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's very intellectual, it's very difficult. You must work with your brain, and it's fantastic. It's not just entertainment. This is science. You can learn a lot looking at this TV series. In Italy, okay, it's too much difficult because Fringe Science is not a popular culture. Just science fiction fans follow this kind of culture.
But even science often isn't considered culture. If you look on newspaper, on the culture page, you find literature, philosophy, whatever, that's history. No, science, no. In the best of cases, consider a lower form of culture with its pages. It's considered more for the technician than for true intellectuals.
Yes, please.
So it sounds like science fiction isn't very popular in Italy. Are there no fandom there, or?
Yeah, a lot of fandom. We've got a convention.
American science fiction, fans for American.
American science fiction. I think there's more interest from the children. Children are fascinated by science fiction and fascinated by science. So better Fringe Science. And we must organize themselves to learn this kind of arguments. If you give them the passion, they feel the passion, and there's the reaction. And this is beautiful. This is wonderful.